Hello, my name is Liza, and Liza on the left here. I am currently working as an ALT on the JET program, and I'm just hoping to do some of these videos to help any aspiring slash recently shortlisted JETs who are coming over to Japan. So the first video that I want to upload, or the first thing I want to talk about, is early departure. If you're not familiar with early departure, basically there's two main departure times for the JET program. The regular departure, which is usually around July and August, and early departure, which is around April, early May. Now, early departure option has only been around for a few years now, so unfortunately I haven't really found a whole lot of information on it on the web. I mean, there is some information available, but obviously not as much as, the information for regular departure. And there is some significant differences that I think need to be talked about. So hopefully this will help you if you are one of the few who does get early departure, as I did. Now, only a handful of people, like I said, go into the early departure category. And I'm pretty, from what I've talked to with people before, is that a lot of times, oh no, but definitely don't have my camera tacky to the top of my computer. Anyway, so from what I've talked to people about, for the most part, I would say early departure people are people who are replacing people who have broke contract. And I'm not going to really get into that, but basically broke contract means that you're like, oh, I know that I'm supposed to leave in August, but I'm going to leave in December. Sorry. So they need to quickly replace them for that prefecture city, and so there you are. Now, I can't really say exactly why, but, anyway. So let's start out with how and why you would want to apply for early departure. When you're completing your JET application, there's a section that asks you if you'd like to apply for early departure. So if you are currently a student when you're applying and you're not going to graduate until July, obviously you would not select that. Now, this is an option, keep in mind. So, I mean, if you don't, it's just an option. You don't have to choose it. If you really don't want early departure, then don't put it. I selected early departure because I didn't want to close any doors, and I actually would have preferred to leave in July just because of the things I had going on at the time. I mean, a few benefits of early departure are that, you do actually get to start at the beginning of the school season, so you're not coming in halfway through like the JETs that show up in July and August. So, I mean, there's that plus side too. But if you honestly have things going on that you think would be messed up by you leaving in April, then I would recommend not selecting it. If you select that you are okay with early departure, there is some extra steps that you have to take during the application process. You have to get the FBI background check done and your certificate of health. And so give plenty of time for the FBI background check. Last year when I applied, they actually extended the deadline, I think because of the government shutdown, because people weren't getting them back in time. They can take up to, I believe they say, somewhere between 3 and 6 weeks to complete. So it's not just sending a form in. You do have to go in and get your fingerprints printed and sent in. So, I mean, you have to schedule that, go in, pay for that, send it out, pay for that. And so there's a lot of steps that you need to take, and don't leave it off to the last second for sure. And then you also have to do a certificate of health where you go and basically get a physical, get it like a TB shot or an x-ray, or TB test, I should say. And it has to be from a licensed physician. It can't be from a nurse. And when you fill out the information that you bring in to your doctor, keep in mind that anything you put in your application about your prior medical history, the doctor will need to mention it, or not mention it, but basically clarify anything or make any notes about it in the paperwork you bring in. So just keep that in mind. Make sure that you're checking what the doctor wrote, and give a few days for that too, because you do, TB test or something like that. It was a few days, actually took closer to a week for me to get anything back. So don't wait to the last second. I waited very close to the last second. It's very stressful. You have enough things to worry about. Anyway, yeah. So another thing about early departure, when you leave, typically, let's see here, I only got about a month's notice. Unfortunately, I'm a terrible person, and when I was told that I had a week to get my, what was it? Oh yeah, my passport. Proof of my passport. Well, being poor at the time, I actually didn't have my passport, and as many of you know, it does take several weeks to get a passport. Fortunately for me, I did have a special passport agency near me that can get it overnighted or done within a week, so I did get that completed. Woo! If that happens to you, first contact the consulate that was contacting you in the first place. Let them know your situation. Try to resolve it. But depending on where you are, what your situation is, they might just work with you. So it's definitely worth just letting them know and keeping them in the loop. When I told them that I was trying to get it, they were like, "Oh, okay, yeah, no problem. Just get it to us as soon as you can and keep them updated." Usually they're pretty understanding. And I mean, if you have a month to go, there's a lot you have to do. I had to quit my job, find a subletter, pack up my stuff, move it, and I had to, buy all the stuff that you need for Japan. So it's a lot in a short period of time. So if you can prepare yourself ahead of time, I mean, there's not so much you can prepare for in that regards. Just start collecting the clothes that you want to bring, or start packing up things that, you don't think you're going to need for Japan. I suppose you could probably just do it once you actually get the email, but just do it. Don't wait to the last minute is what I mean. I am a procrastinator by nature, and it was rough to get ready for this. I basically was packing my last night before. I didn't sleep because I was packing forever. And if you're somebody who does have to move out of an apartment, go through your stuff before you move, because the last thing you want to do is open up these boxes for stuff that you think you need for Japan. Side note. So, besides that, once you actually leave for Japan, early departure people don't actually do pre-departure orientation. It's required for people who do regular departure, but not for early departure. I know in the past that they haven't done orientation in Tokyo. This year they actually said, no, you're not doing it, and then later they said, just kidding, you are. When I got there, it was only one real full day. You got there kind of later in the evening, went to sleep because you're dead, and you woke up the next morning and had a full day of seminars, which, by the way, don't miss those, even if you don't think that they're particularly useful, which, I mean, I thought they were. If you don't think that they are, they do check to make sure that you are there, and if you're not, you have a lot of explaining to do and apologizing to do. Once you get to your prefecture, it's not fun, don't do it. So, full day of that, you get like full meals, and ignore that didn't happen. Okay, everything's good. Okay, so yeah, you get a full day, and then you can where is it at? It's in downtown Tokyo. I don't remember which part of Tokyo, but it's a really nice hotel, actually. They have an onsen on the top floor, which I regret not going to, but everybody was very tired, as they will be. You'll be jet lagged like crazy, depending on where you came from. I know people from like New Zealand and Australia. There's not quite as big a time difference, so those people are fine. The other thing you'll notice when you're at early departure orientation is that most of the people that come at the same time as you will be CIRs. And so what that'll mean is that many of them will not speak English, they will speak fluent Japanese. And so, I mean, if you speak fluent Japanese, that's great, but a lot of times you won't really understand what they're saying, and there's just not as many ALTs there. When and I should mention too, the CIRs that do come are usually from Asian countries, China, Malaysia, things like that. So that's why they're not just because they're CIR, they're CIRs that speak English, but just this group tends to be from those countries. So that's why that happens. Anyway, there really wasn't that many ALTs there. I say there was probably like 25 of us in total, which is, I'm sure, a much smaller number than the actual regular departure orientation number of jets. But yeah, I mean, you get a roommate, you one person, stay in this room with, meet people, talk to people, exchange emails. It's a really great place to meet new friends. And why everything is terrible. Okay. So it's a really good place to meet people if you haven't. I actually met several people who I unknowingly had seen on Tumblr, so that was cool. You might actually run into people you've met on the internet while you've been researching the JET program. But yeah, so a full day for me, well, and for everybody else. We did the full day, and then we next morning had to get up early. Some people had to get up as early as like 6. I actually didn't have to get up till about 8. And then I took the train, the Shinkansen, to my prefecture, which is Gifu, and it was pretty awesome. If you haven't been in the Shinkansen, got to go to the Tokyo subway system, or the underground, whatever it's called, and it was pretty interesting depending on where you are in Japan. Fortunately, Gifu is not that far from Tokyo, a couple hours, but some of you, depending on where you are in Japan, might have to take another flight. You may have to take a bus and then a flight. It really just depends on where you are, how far you are from Tokyo. Typically, you will be escorted by your resident PA, supervisor, and they'll kind of go over extra things with you. Just because you don't have the regular pre-departure orientation, they'll most likely go over anything you missed from that. It's obviously a lot briefer, more brief, than you would have before that. But yeah, I mean, it feels like you're a little bit more thrown into the situation than you would be for regular departure, for sure. You have a lot less preparation. But, just keep in mind it's a great reason to keep in touch with people who are here, because it'll give you a nice lifeline to ask questions. And don't be afraid to ask your PA or your supervisor questions, especially if you're early departure, because it's a lot happening all at once. But yeah, I think that's everything for early departure. Basically, just a few notes. Make sure that you get everything completed that you have to do extra for the application. Make sure you do it timely. Get your shit together really quick once you find out. Do not wait. And the orientation once you get to Tokyo, much shorter if you have it. But yeah, enjoy the experience. I haven't been back to Tokyo since then. I mean, I've only been here a month, so it's not that weird. But if you can, do a little sightseeing, maybe early morning on your second day, or even if you have the energy for it, because I didn't. The night after, or the night of that you get there, try not to drink or get too drunk. I mean, you can have a drink, whatever, but just remember that you represent your country, and you're also don't probably want to be hungover. And if somebody sees you, I'm sure it's probably not good anyway. So, I mean, enjoy yourself, have fun. If you have any questions about early departure, please message me or leave a comment, and hopefully I will be doing more updates like this about the JET program, and hopefully they won't be as awkward with, my phone falling and everything. So anyway, talk to you later. Bye.